Sunday Lounge with Salma Kazi.
Although we know this has been going on since 1948, it's now becoming way more public. And as much as social media is, it's a double-edged sword, right? But I guess if I can say that there's a silver lining to anything, is that the world is waking up to what has been happening to them for many, many, many years. I think I do have a responsibility as a South African, as a mother, and as a human being to stand on the side of truth. And I'm not afraid at all, because I do believe that if you are speaking the truth, then there is nothing to be afraid of.
So we wanted to show our support for the doctors in Gaza, those who were trapped for the period of the war, who were working tirelessly, who couldn't even speak to their families at certain points. We wanted to show them that we stood with them and that it was really important for us to show our support as an international medical community. I understand that some people don't believe that it's for them or it doesn't make a difference, but we can see already on social media how much of an impact these things do make on the international community. And as a community in Durban, we have a really strong feeling of being pro-Palestine, so we have to go out there and show the world that we are also with them.
A lot more effort than any of us. It took quite a lot of hours of getting all the right stakeholders on board in order to make this event what it is. And that was liaising with all the organizations, getting them all to come on and endorse. So alhamdulillah, it wasn't difficult conversations. We embarked on a journey of getting all the well-known organizations within the Durban, KZN and South African communities, from Penny Appeal to AMA, Islamic Relief, getting Al-Ansaar on board in order to help drive and make this successful.
And you've seen not only Muslims, you've seen humanitarians from the world, of all regions, of all cultures, of all backgrounds, all persuasions, taking a stand in the world in not in just thousands, in hundreds of thousands. So what's very critical is you've got to start training children from young. You've got to start educating them and teaching them and bringing them to these environments so they understand, and inshallah, that's how you maintain future generations in these struggles. My niece and my son have now taken over a mic, and my 25-year-old son is doing his thing in Cape Town. So that's where you see the other benefit of now the youth.
So as a foundation, Lajpal has been fighting for Palestinian liberation for a number of years. I think this is the first time that Durban has had all the organizations stand up, and we wanted to be a part of that. We wanted to be a part of all the organizations uniting for one common goal, and that is for the freedom of our brothers and sisters. We all want to do more for Palestine, but unfortunately we are limited with what we can do. But by marching and creating awareness and putting pressure on our government, there is change that can be made. We've seen recently how the Israeli embassy has been closed and diplomatic ties with Israel have been suspended. And that comes from the people of South Africa, because our government is a representation of us and the views of the people. By airing our views to our leaders, we create awareness within them that they have to make a change because they are in a position of power.
It was just to get people excited about today, create more awareness about the event today. And initially we needed help with making, the huge flags for the crowd. But alhamdulillah, because we have so many organizations involved, a lot of them do have the big flags. So Shukr, we didn't need to do that. So we just did posters, and then we blew up some balloons to hand out to children who are watching the protest on the side, just to make it a bit fun for all the children involved. It's so important to get our kids involved from a young age. I mean, they are the future generation. Alhamdulillah, I see the younger generation this year making a big difference in terms of protests and on social media. It makes you proud to see, that change is finally happening in the world.
And I can see the Palestinian colors, flags. Everybody is out here, giving it their all, I think. Everybody wants to do something to try and create awareness for Palestine. And I don't even have words to actually describe, what's been happening. I mean, everybody's aware. So it's so nice to see Durban actually come out. Lots of young people. I saw a lot of young people on the way, which is really refreshing, and it's really nice to see. There's lots of families. It's really cute, actually. There's moms and dads with their prams. and they're little babies and little toddlers. I saw a lot of them with little caps and holding little flags. It's really endearing to see that, they little children partaking in such a big kind of catastrophe. It's good to see them out here. I think Muslims are very well aware of what's happening, because I think as a Muslim, it's impossible to actually, not be aware. I feel like when these protests take place, it's very much for the non-Muslim communities. It's very much for, those communities that actually don't know. I feel like our education happens via them. We need to go out there and we need to say, okay, this is what's happening in Palestine. Are you aware? Do you know this? Those types of things.
What's really impressive is these are South African protests that are actually getting international headlines. And I think more broadly, not just activists on the ground, but even from a political position, from a diplomatic position, South Africa has historically and to date been incredibly outspoken about its support for the Palestinian cause. And I think that's really something to be quite proud of. I only saw the protests very briefly at the beginning as they were taking off. And I think a lot of the symbolism of South Africa's own liberation struggle really rings through here. You see a lot of Nelson Mandela posters. You see a lot of Nelson Mandela's words on these slogans. They're all saying we know too well that the freedom of South Africans is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. It's something that a lot of people take to heart here.